Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you for checking out another brand new episode of the show. Today's feature is my friend, singer-songwriter Anthony J Russo. We had a really great time hanging out at his house, recording this one. Do a couple live acoustic songs for you. And we also talk about his 2018 release, his Coming Home EP, that you can find wherever you get your digital music at. So check that out. Also, want to remind you that today's episode is brought to you by Roughneck Beard Company and American Rambler, located here in St. Louis, Missouri, off of Manchester over in Maplewood, Missouri. You can shop there, or you can shop 24/7 all over the world at roughneckbeardcompany.com. You can use my code RPP15 for an exclusive 15% off your purchase. Head over there and check out their Roughneck Genesis. It's a fortifying and nourishing beard maximizer. This time of year is all about Roughneck Genesis. Features aloe vera juice infused with biotin, B12, MSM, and glycerin. This product will actually help your hair and skin pull moisture in from the air around it, keeping everything soft and healthy. Just a couple of quick sprays before adding your favorite beard oil or balm, and you're good to go. Again, check out Roughneck Genesis. Check out their beard oils, beard balms, junk powder, all sorts of wonderful products for your grooming needs over there at roughneckbeardcompany.com. And don't forget that code RPP15 for 15% off. Also, a big thank you to Heil Sound for their support and helping make this show sound great. Visit heilsound.com today and grab a brand new microphone. That's it for me, everybody. If you need me, you can find me at rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you're listening to. If you have any requests for people you'd like to hear on the show or anything else, whatever it is, shoot me an email. Say hey. You can also find me on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new episode with Anthony J Russo.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
This is Anthony J Russo. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out today with Anthony J Russo, AJ Russo, if you're looking up online and everything. But yeah, man, welcome to the show, bud.
Thanks for having me, Shane.
This is cool, man. I'm really glad that we are getting to meet and officially and stuff. We've kind of been friendly online for a while.
Yeah.
I'm good buddies with your brother, and it's just kind of crazy that this all worked out today, man. We're here and officially getting to hang out and stuff. I just spent the evening with you last night over at your gig and had a good time watching you play live, and so it was fun to come over here and spend a Saturday afternoon at your home and getting to do a podcast today.
Right on, man. Couldn't be a better day.
Yeah, for sure. If I could get paid to just sit around and do podcast on a Saturday afternoon, that'd be pretty good day for sure.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, eating donuts.
Yeah. Donut King's just a few blocks.
Yeah, shout out to Donut King.
Shout out to Donut King, guys.
Proud sponsor. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm really like I said, I've been looking forward to this. We kind of been friendly online, and like I've known a little bit about what you do. So I just thought it'd be cool that we can actually kind of deep dive into some of this and some of these stories and things. So, but we are here in St. Charles, Missouri. You said you born and raised in the area here, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Born and raised here. I did leave for a while. I moved to New York City when I was 19. I spent about 10 years out there. Did a lot of international travel through my first art form, which is tap dancing before it was playing music. I kind of grew up background as a bit of like a family circus, per se. My father was an actor. My mother grew up a dancer, a performer, and my grandparents on my mom's side, they bought a dance studio for my mom and her two sisters, basically to help, like, they needed a place where they could make money and still work, but also take care of their three daughters, who were already working at a dance studio. The owner wanted to sell, and my grandma was running the front desk, so it was kind of a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. They bought a dance studio back in 1974 here in St. Charles, and I was just kind of born into it. Father played guitar, did a lot of local commercials. He was with Talent Plus, the agency here in St. Louis.
Okay.
Did a lot of Shakespeare festivals, a lot of live theater. And so he had the singing, acting side, and my mom had the dancing side of things.
Right.
And it just kind of spiraled into my brother and I actually are both a super product of these two people.
Yeah. It's just, that's cool that you guys are kind of meet in the middle on both those worlds and stuff. So,
Yeah.
So tap was like your first like love, I guess, right? Like you kind of got into, like that became a big part of your life early on. And
yeah, I grew up in the dance studio. My mother will tell everybody, like, I wanted to sign up for dance lessons when I was 2 years old. I think it's total bullshit. But
it was 3. Okay. So,
whatever. Yeah. But regardless of how I got there, I was in the classes, and you as a kid, you don't really know you love something until you really, I think, you understand it and understand yourself in it. And it wasn't until I was like a young teenager, early teenager. As a young kid, I saw Savion Glover on Sesame Street.
Right.
There were still some little like glimmers of tap dancing in modern mainstream entertainment. And I grew up, idolizing like Gregory Hines and Savion Glover mostly. And then when I was like 14 years old, maybe, I saw Tap Dogs play at the Fox Theater. And it's like a real like rough and tumble tap dance theater show. No dialogue, just tap dancing and percussion and drums. And it's basically like a construction set. These guys are in jeans and t-shirts and boots and with taps on them and doing an hour and 20-minute production without saying a word. And I just saw 6 guys hanging out, tap dancing. Meanwhile, I'm like getting ridiculed at, 6th grade, like, out of the way, twinkle toes. Like, to see that, I was like, oh man, I'm like, I want to be friends with those. Those are like the friends I need to be having. So I kind of put a goal in place for myself pretty young. I wanted to do that show.
And kind of that's just like a perfect example of like how there's so many kids that are ridiculed for something they love, especially at that age. Like middle school can be tough, man. Like
man.
And you're already like, I wonder how many people have just stopped because of that though. Like, and that's the sad part about it. Like, how many people, they just like don't want to do it anymore because people talk about it or make fun of them for it or whatever it is. Yeah. And, whatever their art is. And, but there's, you see all these kids that stuck with it and all of a sudden, like they make it to doing something. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, we know, like then they want to be your friend.
Oh man, I know that all too well.
That kind of thing. It's just like, they want to tell everybody they knew you then. It's like, yeah, but you're over here talking shit and everything.
How do we know each other back then?
Right. Yeah. So, but I mean, like I watched obviously a lot of that America's Got Talent and everybody's got that story. They all go on there like they were, teased for different things, whatever it was. And then now they're on the biggest stage in the world kind of thing. So
Yeah. And America's Got Talent, they love a story.
Yeah.
They love a backstory.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think they get me almost every time. I'm like sitting there just every time just like crying and stuff. I'm like,
way to stick with it.
Right. Yeah. That and Ninja Warrior or any of those shows. I'm just like I'm a mess. I'm
Just
like,
in the face of adversity, like those success stories.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took a good amount of ridicule. Junior high school more than high school. Once you kind of get into high school, then people like you kind of weed out like the dirtbags and the people who are like whose words have a lot like whose words have actual weight. Once you kind of start getting a little older. But yeah, it definitely flipped for me. I got my first job at the Muni in St. Louis. I went to an audition down there and lied. It was an 18 and up audition for like an adult like equity chorus. It was an equity contract. Yeah. And I was 15. Just like string bean, pair of tap shoes. And I was 15 years old and I ended up booking it was Anything Goes was the show. And I like at 15 years old I was making $600 a week.
Oh wow.
It was only for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
But being 15, I was like, yes, I did it. That was my first, like the first time I really got, like, paid to do a professional gig in tap shoes. And I was like, okay, there's something to this.
Sure.
And this was right around the same time, like, got that early teenage years criticism. I had to leave soccer practice to go to, like, ballet class. And people were like, later, faggot. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
All
right.
That happened so regularly. So I quit taking ballet. I quit taking these other forms of dance, and was gravitating. You get to the school where you're like, you have to take an art. You have to take either like band or choir or orchestra. You're like, you choose. You're like, all right. So I signed up for the band and gravitated towards percussion and drums naturally. Just the correlation between the tap dancing and playing drums and percussion. I just ended up landing in concert band in junior high school. And the two of those, my tap dance training at the family dance studio and playing in the band, doing like pep rally basketball games. And then into high school, I did a whole like jazz band, marching band, all that. And by that point I was like, all right, man, music and rhythm, like that's really it. And
right.
I played some sports, but eventually like the tap dancing really just started to kind of push everything else out. And when I was 17, I auditioned for that show Tap Dogs, and sure enough I landed it.
Yeah
man, they told me the last US tour ever, the last North American tour of this show ever had already been fully cast. And I was like that was a little defeating. I'm like, man, I saw this and like this is like my end goal here at 15 years old. But I ended up auditioning, and one of the guys that got hired for the fully cast last tour ever was just a dick, man. He didn't work out.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, he just didn't fit he didn't fit the mold. And I think he like stole a disposable camera like when they went on like a grocery run one time, and they were like, yeah, you gotta go.
All right.
So thanks to his attitude, I got called up like 2 weeks before my senior year of high school, and went down to Mississippi. And 10 days later, I was on stage in the show, and we did a 5-month North American tour. The tour bus we got came from Motley Crue's tour right before we used it. 17 years old on this tour bus. It's like, what the
still stocked with Jack Daniels.
There's still like, you can still smell it. But yeah, like then returning to school after that, anybody who was like, yeah, whatever, Bojangles, like then they're like, what's up, man? What have you been doing? I'm like, no.
Been making money.
Yeah, like doing the thing you ridiculed me for so long. And it's working.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's such a cool story. Like that, especially like being young and already kind of like knowing that's what you want to do, and then getting out there and actually getting to do it. Like, following that dream to where it led you to those stages and stuff, getting to tour the world and doing it. And
it's been a pretty lucky journey. I've honestly, the tap dancing has taken me around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like not a lot of people can say that even get to see the world and stuff, and so it's cool that something you really love got you out there doing that and seeing everything. So, but so you so now you figured out a way, like you're saying you kind of your dad was the more in the music and stuff side of it, and that's kind of where you're at now. You're getting to play a lot of music. You're writing your own music and playing a lot of cover stuff out at the bars and things. Mm-hmm. But you're finding a way to marry the two. You're working in tap into some of these shows, which I think I've seen some of your video, and it's just it's highly entertaining, man. It's just a lot of fun that you're mashing all of it together and stuff. So.
It's been a long time in the making, and when I started touring with this tap show, we're on these tour buses, and three out of the 8 guys toured with guitars. So the next tour that I got booked for with this show, I picked up a cheap little Fender acoustic, $100 from a friend, and took that out on the road with me, and that's kind of where I learned how to play guitar and start writing songs and all that kind of stuff. And back lounge of a tour bus, best place to learn how to play guitar. Yeah, hands down.
Right.
But yeah, it was a culmination of those experiences. I'm touring with a tap dance show and learning how to play guitar, and then over the course of, I guess, the last 15 years or so, I've sharpened that skill where I'm confident enough to kind of present the two together. And you ever heard of oh man, his name's slipping me. He's an old banjo picker, John Hartford.
Oh yeah,
from up in Hannibal.
Yeah,
there's footage of him actually picking and flat footing at the same time.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I work with a loop station, so I can do all kinds of stuff. I can layer, rhythm guitar. I can tap over. I can solo, beat on my guitar, and make some beats. But it's been a long time in the making, and I'm finally at this almost this stay-at-home order really just kind of helped me really hone that craft of the two together, because I'm not traveling 2-3 weekends a month to go perform and do all these trips and cruise ships for a couple weeks at a time. Everything I really do for my craft involves leaving. Now everything is focused locally.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until recently. My energy just gets spread out so far because I go to this city for 3 days and then I leave. Whatever momentum was built in that place, I can represent it with photos and videos and look what we did over here. But to be able to apply it locally, I get the benefit of touring and getting an album out and backing, you release a record and now you got to take it to the masses. However, to be able to really hone in locally and start to cultivate and grow, honestly, I feel like I'm watering my own garden a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that's the rise of the solo acoustic act at the moment, because these big events are all canned, and people don't want to hire full bands. They just want a guy in the corner who can do it.
Yeah.
I've always looked past the issue to towards the an opportunity to fill a void somewhere. Anytime I'm trying to work within my craft, how can I navigate or put it somewhere where it's not usually seen? And doing this whole tap dance guitar playing, I'm doing it in bars and pubs, man.
Sure.
And the people that are hanging out there are just they'll be on their phones, they're looking at the game on the TV, they're laughing and talking, and the minute my tap shoe hits the floor, it's just people look over first it's what the hell is going on?
Sure.
Hold on a second, what's happening? And then by the end of it, the cell phone is the new lighter.
Yeah.
So if the light, the lighter's in the air, you're people are into it. But if everybody's phone's out, I guess everybody likes it.
Yeah, that's it, man. But that's the thing. It's something. It's a spectacle, in a sense. It's nothing to you, but for the general public, I think we don't see very many tap dancers at all. And then to see a tap dancer that can play guitar and sing and are, all the stuff at the same, like it's just an anomaly, like it's something you don't see very often. Yeah. So it definitely catches your attention. Like it's just something different compared to just the guy playing guitar and stuff. So it's like, and the fact that like you're saying now with the loop station, you can play, you got the cajon, you got all these, things that, so like it's
that cajon's a recent addition. I started doing that a couple of weeks ago and like,
right.
I won't travel without it.
But it's just like, it's just something, it's a whole different twist on what everybody kind of knew as a solo acoustic guy in a bar,
The guy in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love it, man. I think it's really cool what you got going on. And so it's a highly entertaining show. So if you get a chance to see Anthony Russo around town, do that. And I know you keep active around here in St. Charles area. You're every Sunday at Krawl Daddy's that was on Main, right?
Yep, Main Street, St. Charles. Every Sunday I'm down. I'm like the resident Sunday carny down there from 6 to 9 out on their patio, weather permitting, obviously. But
sure. But yeah, man. And so definitely catch a show when you can. But being that so that's obviously a big part of it. But also I want to get into your songwriting because you have a EP out there called Coming Home that is all original music and available everywhere you get your digital music at today. And I listened to that and I was really digging what you got going on there and stuff. And then like seeing some of the stuff last night too. Like so I think like you have some really great songs, man. And like so that's why I thought it'd be cool to dive into some of that today too. Kind of people might know you for some of the cover work and some of the the tap and everything, but like I think there's something really great with some of these songs that you're writing too. So
thanks.
I also want to kind of shine a light on something different that not everybody's knows about. So
yeah, I mean constantly somebody's like, oh hey, my friend Anthony, like oh people are like oh the tap dancer,
right?
That's like I'm known as the tap dancer guy.
Right.
Oh yeah, your friend, is your tap dancing friend? Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, these songs have kind of been like my little secret treasure over here that I've just kind of been working. I think I can speak for most songwriters. Like you look at your first batch, and you're like that. You can't even eat that. Just throw it in, throw it in the trash. But lately, the amount of travel I've been doing and the amount of time and what I've been doing with my personal time is really leading to a great headspace for songwriting. I spend a lot of time out in my camper and just try and like remove myself from a lot of the influences out there. It's a lot of guys will listen to other artists for inspiration. I actually will sometimes turn away from all music for my inspiration because when you get inspired by the other music, you are going to sound like the music that inspires you. And sure, there's a couple, you can look at a couple of my songs and be like, oh yeah, it kind of sounds like, but I really try to, articulate my own experiences in my own way. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, I talk about it a lot, but like I never actually sat down to try to write a song or anything, but I sort of like kind of dabbled with it. Like one night, just bored, kind of like I want to try to write something, and then but like for me, like when I sit try to write, it's all those other people's lyrics that are stuck in my head that come out. So it's like I'm kind of with you. I think I need to, if I'm gonna do it, I have to shut off all that and try to come up with something original because I am so heavily influenced by so much of the music I listen to and stuff. So
yeah, we're just saturated with content everywhere these days.
Well, you mentioned your camper, and you were talking about last night. You shared a story about some people need to find that space, whatever it is for them. If it's going to the creek or the lake or it's camping or whatever it is, and that for them to clear their mind, kind of thing. And you played a song called "Something to Believe In," and I felt like that there's a great line that you say in the song, and I get lost and I get found, and I think it's such a great line because I think about that something about just disconnecting from the world, the city life, and all, whatever,
Yeah.
and the day jobs and all, and then like just getting out in the middle of the woods or whatever, in the country and just getting lost, like enjoying what Mother Nature out there, man. Like, and
Absolutely.
but something about that, like you're saying, that's how I picture like the getting lost out there in the country and then getting found because like you find like inner peace kind of thing, that kind of vibe to it, like something you bring you a lot more joy than
You cut out the white noise
Right.
and just get back to the organic and natural noise.
Sure. Yeah, man.
Yeah, just
So-
we don't realize that those vibrations versus like manufactured vibrations that are like in our face all the time. The kick on of a furnace, the FedEx truck, like all that kind of stuff. Like the vibrations you get out there are more beneficial.
Yeah.
To the mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's I think we're on the same thing. I don't know if that's necessarily where you were writing about when you wrote those lines, but like that's how I interpreted it, and like in that particular line and stuff. But like that's how it's just a really good lyric and things. But you want to talk about the rest of the song? How this one kind of this is a new one, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been recorded. It's the most recent song I wrote. It's honestly it's the only thing that I can claim I did while in quarantine, I guess. Mm-hmm. When everything's kind of started to get locked down and shut down, I was on a cruise ship. Made it back via Mexico, and when I arrived home, it was like, okay, I got to stay in my house for 14 days. I had family brought me groceries and all that kind of stuff. Did porch drop-offs, and then immediately after those 2 weeks, I knew. I was seeing all my jobs kind of disintegrate. Every travel opportunity was like, yeah, we're gonna wait, we're canceling, and every email I got was a cancellation. So I picked up work doing construction work on the side just to keep it moving and keep some income here. And every single project was basically people like pimping their own spaces because they can't go anywhere. Right. So like it's all like fire pits and backyards and new deck and a this and a pergola. Like everyone's just kind of like enriching their own spaces because they kind of got cut off from the places that they like to go.
And they got a $1,200 check, so they get
yeah, they got this nice bonus. So it was a combination of like me trying to like seeking out my own like quote unquote happy place, and for some people it's a room in their house, it's a library, it's a the Katy Trail, it's a it's a dock, it's a walk, it's a country drive, like kind of deal. And I was like, I think this is like the topic right now. Everybody's like appreciating their own like place that they go to tenfold because they don't have the 100 options anymore.
Right.
So people are kind of forced to almost like be a little introspective, figure out really what that is, and then pursue it with a fury. So yeah, mine's a little creek about 45 minutes away.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful. It's called Lost Creek, and that's where I get lost, I get found. I just gave up my secret location. That's it.
Cross the river wide, yeah, climb the hill so high, gunning for that county line, and then drive out of town just a few miles. There's a hand-painted sign on a telephone pole. You need sturdy boots and a 4x4. Follow the creek to sacred ground. Yeah, I get lost and I get found. Yeah, I get lost and I get found. I don't need no reason. Don't matter the season. Yeah, and I know you wishing I wasn't leaving. I need something to believe in. Yeah, take a country drive, leave the world behind. Golden Eagle tailgate live, and dancing around the firelight. Yeah, we're dancing around that firelight. I don't need no reason, no matter the season. Yeah, and I know you were wishing I wasn't leaving. I need something to believe in. I don't need no reason, no matter the season. Yeah, and I know you were wishing I wasn't leaving. I need something to believe in.
Yeah, man, that's I really dig this tune, and so we got a little video we shot also of you playing the song live here in the living room, so you can find that up on the YouTube and Facebook and stuff as well. But
Right on.
yeah, so this is this shaping up? You think being you know, are you working on? You got a couple other things you're working on, but like you think along with some of the other stuff that you haven't recorded yet, making a new album or a new EP or?
Absolutely. I have about 6 tracks that we kind of did like the rough out, I guess, scratch, you know, guitar, vocals. I went and hung out with my buddy down in Hendersonville. It's just 20 minutes outside of Nashville. He's got a nice basement studio, everything down there. We laid 6 tracks down like in January. So I was like, all right, let's get ready.
Yeah.
And well, I'm just kind of waiting now. I am going to be shopping around for a place to start recording. And my buddy in Baltimore, we were living in Vegas at the same time together when we recorded that first EP. Now he's back in Baltimore. I'm back in Missouri. He's a monster performer, so I'm trying to get him out for some recording sessions. I don't really trust anybody else on a drum set. But no, I definitely do have plans to record these, and I actually want to re-record the 4 EP tracks in combination with the new tracks. It's going to have a bit of a different essence to it.
Okay.
And we'll do a full length. Probably 10, 11 tracks.
Let's so you have the Coming Home EP out there.
Yeah.
You say you might be re-recording those, but I do really like what you have out there. Like I said, there's some really good songs, including a song that we did another live version of it, and it's called "Good Luck Charm."
Yeah.
And like I said, appears on that EP. But this is another fun one. Just like, but it would be cool. I think like I like it bare bones as it is, and I think that's always just kind of fun. Like even on the record, like it's still a very kind of mellow, you know, type of. It's not really a lot of production on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's always kind of fun to hear where they start. You know, just you and a guitar here in the living room type of feel, and seeing where maybe we add some more instruments to. You know, I know you've been working with a banjo player and stuff too, and like, you know, different things like that. Just adding some more orchestration to it and making a bigger track, and maybe it takes on a whole another life of its own.
Yeah.
And they're re-recording it and stuff or whatever it is. So
Yeah, I mean, over the last few years, I've worked with enough musicians that, you know, some people kind of stick out along the way, and I'm like, hey, when it comes time, like, would you be down? When it comes time, would you be down? Just kind of like slowly trying to align like the right group of guys. And I know like I generally try and work with my friends as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's like music is fun, man. You know.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a vibe. And if the vibe isn't there with the people that are playing music together, it's not gonna transfer. It's not gonna land how it could.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, let's. You got any stories around Good Luck Charm you would like to share?
Good Luck Charm. I mean, to be quite honest, I was like, I want to write a country song that I could sell. You know, I really tried to almost like keep myself within some parameters, write something lyrically that was really digestible and a little cute, but also a little like throw some good guitar and drums on it, and it's got a little punch to it, you know. I was in the car. I was in my truck driving from. I actually like the chorus of the song. Just crossed the border from Tennessee to Georgia. Like that was happening when I wrote the chorus.
Yeah.
And like as cliche as it is, man, I pulled over at a truck stop. I sat on my tailgate, surrounded by 18-wheelers, like back in the parking area, and wrote that chorus. I have the audio, that voice memo that which is like. Diesel trucks in the background and me like trying to chunk out the chord progression and the lyrics. And I stopped at that truck stop, and I just kind of like in the truck before I stopped, I sang that chorus ish, kind of like first couple lines while I was coming together. Pulled over, figured out some chords, and then recorded like 2 minutes of that chord progression. And then I got back in the truck and just put it on repeat. And carved out that song for the next like 4 hours in the truck. And by the time I got to my destination, I had everything but the bridge. Yeah. Yeah. I had to consult. I had to phone a friend for that one. I was like, yeah, I'm at the precipice and I need a bridge.
Well, I never had much faith in superstitions, but this life's got a way of proving me wrong. If I see a penny on the ground, I don't mind if it's face down. I pick it up and keep on trucking on. Just take the shoes off your horse out in the field. Put them up over your doors if it makes you feel better. Hang a rosary on a rear view mirror. I don't need none of that when you're here. But right now, baby, I just crossed the border driving Tennessee to Georgia, and I got one thing on my mind. I've never been in such a hurry to get back to Missouri, where I'll run right into your arms. Baby, you will always be my good luck charm. Well, I never carried no rabbit's foot around my neck or in my pocket. I went out to get lost in town, found myself in a fifth of Crown. I saw you, then everything turned around. Tattoo of four-leaf clover on your heart to make sure you and good luck never part. Hang a rosary on a rear view mirror. I don't need none of that when you're here. But right now, baby, I just crossed the border driving Tennessee to Georgia, and I got one thing on my mind. Never been in such a hurry to get back to Missouri, where I'll run right into your arms. Baby, you will always be my good luck charm. Oh, 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 yeah. Well, I just crossed the border on my way back from Georgia, and there's only one thing on my mind. Never been in such a hurry to get back to Missouri, where I'll run right into your arms. Baby, you will always be. Baby, you will always be my good luck charm. My good luck charm. Good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck, yeah.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Have you tried doing any of that, like pitching songs to Nashville or anything?
I don't even know how to go about it.
Yeah.
I'm a schoolboy, man. I really, as far as the music thing goes, I consider myself a schoolboy. Tap dancing, I'm a professional. Like, I'm confident, top to tail. You put me in this scene, that setting, whatever, I can operate comfortably and confidently. Music, I'm still a schoolboy, man. I don't know any other way to say it. Still like terms and things that like sound engineer will say something. I'm like, I don't even know what that means, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, as far as pursuing it on that level, I don't know how to do anything besides like tag someone's social media account.
Right.
I mean, like, yeah, listen to my stuff.
Yeah, I don't really have any idea. I'm very new to that world too. Like, I mean, like, I know it's done, obviously. Like, most of your big, acts out of Nashville, your country singers and stuff are all. That's a lot of what they do. Then, like, Blake Shelton doesn't write a lot of songs, or Jason Aldean or Luke Bryan or those guys. Yeah. Those guys are all go out and they try to find the 10 best songs they can, and then they cut a record and
they shop.
Yeah. So. And so that's a lot of how that world works, and so it's that's what I think is crazy. Like, so I'm a big fan of like Chris Stapleton, and like, and that's where he came out of that world. Like, now he's like one of the largest acts, out there as a solo artist and stuff. But like, for a long time, he just wrote songs, and he did cut songs. I mean, he played in bands and things, but like, and stuff. But like, he had these songs, and like, he just like said one day, like, I heard him on Stern Show, and he was talking about like, he learned that was a job, just writing songs, and he's like, okay, I'll do that, and then number one after number one, and like, I mean, the guy is just like, he's
just a factory.
Yeah, he's an incredible writer, and then of course, like, the rest of the world started noticing it, and now he's a superstar and stuff. But it's just kind of crazy to think about, like, a guy like that, like, okay, I'll do that, and like,
I'd been listening to the Steel Drivers since I was like in high school.
Yeah,
and to hear the whole world be like, whenever Tennessee Whiskey, Justin Timberlake, and Chris Stapleton were like on the Grammys or something, people were like, who was this hillbilly with Justin Timberlake? I'm like, man, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Chris Stapleton? I'm like,
yeah,
totally.
I saw
Turbo fan.
I saw him sold out show at Firebird right when like Traveler hit.
Wow.
Like, he was on tour for that, and then like that was like maybe a month or something before.
That was the end of the small show.
Yeah, that was like a month before CMA with Justin, like you're talking about.
Oh, CMAs.
Yeah, and then of course that blew him up to everybody knew his name by the end of the night, and but I was just like, I remember going to that show, and I'm like, this is never going to happen again. Like, and like, he was on a rocket to the top, and it was crazy to see one of my favorites. And man, he played, one of the last songs of the night he played was, Sometimes I Cry off that record.
Man.
And I'm like, all of us were just like, jaws on the floor, just like,
what a powerhouse.
Yeah, and it was just like, holy shit, that was powerful. Like, just, I mean, it's a great song in itself already and on the record, but like seeing him do it live from 20 feet away, like, or whatever, like, was intense.
That's that vibration.
Yeah.
Like, wow. That's raw.
And there's something really special too when he plays, because he's out there with his wife, and so they kind of have that whole Johnny and June type of feel. Like, they sit there and sing each other, looking in each other's eyes, singing to each other, and it's really a sweet thing that they have going on. It's really nice. So,
That's one of my favorite parts, man.
Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, so there's something out there. Like, I mean, like, I don't know how to get in, I don't know what advice to give you, but I think like, I think that's
Seek management.
I don't know, but I think it's something there, like you're saying, it's a definitely a good song to try to get out there and pitch to somebody. And
Yeah.
I could hear somebody putting it up on the radio somewhere eventually. So,
Right on. My plan was before everything just got all shut down, I had the intention of taking my camper to Nashville this spring. KOAs aren't ideal for like, quiet hangouts. It's like a family campground, but there's a KOA right there at Opryland. And I want to say the rate I found was like $600 a month for full like power and water hookup.
Yeah.
I was ready, man. I've been in touch with my buddy who's got a studio in his basement. I'm like, we cut the rough tracks. I'm like, I'm coming back for 3 months. I'm going to hit them open mics 6 days a week. My day off, I'm like, I want to be in the studio or like during the daytimes do that, hit the open mics at night. And I was just going to run that gamut until, you go to the open mic wave and then you get to the songwriter rounds where you're on a stage with 3 other people for a full hour. And then from there you're getting hired as solo act here. Like I was there long enough to like see like the steps. I'm like, okay, this is where you start. Once somebody gives you a thumbs up here, oh yeah, call this person. And like every other industry, it's who you know, and like you better be nice to work with. Yeah. Or get out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But that's 100. I think that's 100% from those stories I've heard that. It's definitely right. First impressions go a long way. If you're nice to somebody and you're on time and prepared and everything else, like, I mean, you're going to get calls back but you're an ass. Like, see, we don't have time for that.
Man,
like,
everything you rattled off, like being on time, being nice, like being prepared, that shit's free. Yeah. Right. Cost you nothing, but like a little time and a little mental prep. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to share a song called Road Dog Blues, and this also appears on your EP. And I thought this would be fun because this kind of shows a different side of what you do. I mean, obviously the stories there, like we kind of talked about you being on the road a lot, but this is electric guitar and big drums, and it's just a loud rock and roll bluesy kind of song, and it's just feel good, and it was right up my alley, like a lot of the stuff that I grew up listening to and love. And so obviously, my parents raised me on a lot of, which a lot of appeared in your set last night, with like stuff like, Skinner and Allman Brothers and ZZ Top. And so this kind of bluesy rock feel like is, right at home for me. So, so it felt good hearing it on your EP.
Right on. It's actually one of my favorite tracks on the EP. It hits the hardest, man. Yeah. It really does. And honestly, like I wrote the song. Yeah, cool. I can take a little credit for it, but as hard as it hits on that EP, I gotta give it up to Justin Miles on the drums and Jay Shepard on that electric guitar. Right. He's a buddy of mine I've known.
And some slide work on there too, right?
On that track, maybe yeah. I think he might have had some in there. Yeah. But yeah, those guys are absolute monsters. Yeah. Yeah, we've got this joke, me and Justin in the recording, like the main beat drop happens on 1. It comes in on the 2 on that chorus. Usually it's right on the 1 for most songs. Everything we learn is like bass, snare, and we hold 1, and it crashes through on the 2. And our analogy for it is a cow like on the tracks. It just like looks over on 1. And then just gets obliterated on 2. It hits so hard, man. There's a truck driver that worked on one of these tours I did. I sent the track to him. One of the lines in the song, "You're driving that white lightning and pushing that pedal down to the floor." And this truck driver named his truck White Lightning. And like for the entire rest of the tour he was on, it was like a Rob Zombie tour that he was driving for at the time. He's like, every time I pulled out of that loading dock, Road Dog Blues. He's like, I can't get enough. So I'm like, when that truck driver, he's like, this is the track. That's who that was written for,
Sure.
man. It's written for the truck driver. It was written for the road crew. It was written for the local help. Anybody who's like dressed in black, working on a holiday, hanging a lighting truss, pushing a road case, missing a Christmas. You know, that's what that song's all about, man. Ain't seen my baby in 90 days.
Yeah.
That's the top of that chorus, you know, and that's almost every tour I signed on was between 3 and 5 months.
Yeah.
So it's rooted in, you know, in the truth, and it's for the crew, man.
Hey, there it is, man.
This is a song dedicated to the open road. It don't matter where you're coming from, no matter where you go. Lord, all that matters when you're stuck behind a wheel. Lord, you're driving that white lightning and pushing that pedal down to the floor, singing, I ain't seen my baby in 90 days. The devil struck me down for my rambling ways. He dug a grave with the silver spade, singing, if that's the life you choose, go on and sing the road dog blues. Yeah. I found myself round about West Virginia way. Pulled over to this little cafe. Stopped in for a bite to eat. The lady said, anywhere, honey, take a seat. She said, you remind me of my firstborn child. A little bit taller, but she got his smile. Tell me, son, where you been, where you're from. Sit down, lay down, I'll tell you something. I ain't seen my baby in 90 days. The devil struck me down for my rambling ways. He dug a grave with a silver spade, singing, if it's the life you choose, go on and sing the road dog blues. Struck me down for my rambling. He dug a grave with a silver spade, singing, if it's the life you choose. Lord, I ain't seen my baby in 90 days. The devil struck me down for my rambling ways. He dug a grave with a silver spade, singing, if it's the life you choose. Lord, if that's the life you choose. Yeah, yeah, sing that road dog blues. Yeah.
Tough world, man. I think I have a lot of friends around here that, you know, have done it. Have, you know, they've had a taste or you know, done it for years, but a lot of them, you know, wanted to stay home now because they're raising families and different things, and they're hustling around locally. Like, you know, you can still make a good, you know, living doing it here locally. You don't need to. Like, yeah, the road's fun and it has its perks, but that's the thing. A lot of these guys rather have a normal type of life at home at night with the family and stuff, and
consistency goes a long way.
Sure. So, but that's what I think. There's some reason people feel like when you say local music or something like that, it's lesser, you know, or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Like, oh, didn't make it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but. Just because you're here in St. Louis playing music doesn't mean. I mean, we have world class talent. Like a lot of these people, like I was saying, they're all over. They've done it and stuff. They're just So like you can come see some of the greatest talent in the world at your local bar sometimes. And nobody knows the difference and stuff, but it's just like, I don't know why people have that, like this like stigma about it sometimes, like it just, so I don't know.
If if you're not playing a 20,000 seater, I guess you're not worth a damn.
Yeah. Right. but that's, I don't, it just gets me, like sometimes like they'll spend hundreds of dollars to go see an amphitheater show, and it's a lot of times these people starting out in these bars, and like you could have saw them for free or $5 or whatever and stuff. It's like, so I don't know. It's strange that how that works, but I'm trying to change all that. I'm trying to let people know that there's so much talent around the city that how they're doing it, and
you're doing the good work, man. When I landed back here in the St. Louis area, I came off of like a 9-month tour last May of 2019, and really started to kind of like hover around this area, and just kind of like was like, I'm gonna base myself here, and I want to like be smart, and I want to plug myself in. I want to start grinding on this music thing really hard. And I talked to a lot of people about it, and I'm reaching out to musicians, and your name came up more than like guitar players, drummers, like players and singers in town. Everyone's like, Shane Presley? I'm like, I all right, I got to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it did. So I'm happy to be sitting here with you, bud.
Yeah, man. Well, that feels good because, like, I'm just a fan, man. That's how I look at it. Like, I do all this because I love it. I love meeting the people, and I love the music and everything else. And like, but to see people that are maybe a fan of mine now or whatever, like that's weird to me to think about. Like, and but it's cool that people are spreading the word and stuff about it. So even when I'm not around, so yeah, people are speaking good about you, man. Yeah, everywhere. That makes a guy feel good. The mayor. Yeah, man. I think Dan Johanning started that. I was like, do you know where that came from? Yeah. It's not a bad one. Right, yeah, the mayor of St. Louis Music, they started calling me, and I'm like, I'll take it. I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, man. So you, let's drop in one more tune. You said this is another unreleased, and this is just you again, stripped down acoustic in the living room here, and a song called "According to You." And I just heard it my first time today, and I don't know, it's a little more heartbreaking, this one and stuff, like, and obviously kind of going through that with like how there's two sides of the story type of thing. Yeah. So you find that the common thread in any sort of fallout or disagreement, there's it's a very common phrase. There's two sides to every story. Right. That's really just what the song is about. There's two different perspectives on the same thing, and just because there's two different perspectives doesn't make one wrong or one right. It's just something that's just a part of life, right? Yeah. So yeah, for sure, there's a little bit of heartbreak that inspired the tune, but I did write this song with the goal in mind to not sing it myself. Yeah. I wanted to write something that I could imagine another vocalist adding to their repertoire. Mm-hmm. But it's something everybody can relate to. At some point, it's inevitable. Yeah. Everybody goes through it.
Looking out across the plains of Kansas, and my mind wanders as far as I can see. I go back to the last place I saw you, in my arms, loving free. I spent half of my life trying to find you, then half of the time I was gone. I'm I'm running out of ways to say sorry for everything gone wrong. According to you, I just went crazy. According to you, I crossed a line. According to you, I just need Jesus. Oh, and you just need time. I hate to see the house fade in the rear view. The picture on my dashboard makes me cry. For all the times you said I didn't hear you, oh, Lord knows I tried. According to you, I just went crazy. According to you, I crossed a line. According to you, I just need Jesus. Oh, and you just need time. Oh, oh, yeah. I'm looking out across the plains of Kansas, and my mind wanders far as I can see. I go back to the last place I saw you. In my arms, baby, in my arms, loving free. Whoa, yeah. According to you, I just went crazy. According to you, I crossed a line. According to you, I just need a Sunday service, and you just need time. Whoa, yeah. According to you, I just need Jesus. Oh, and you just need time.
And I think to be able to write something that people can relate to without even knowing you, and to be able to kind of put their own scenario on your combination of words, I think is really special.
Yeah, man, it happens to me all the time. And even if I can't necessarily like apply that, I mean, like obviously something like falling in love and heartbreak are things that we all deal with. Everybody's, whether whatever it is, you've been in that situation, and so like I feel like that's why there are so many songs written there, because we all write from what we know. And but even if there's a situation like something different, and I've never necessarily been in that moment, I can still believe what he's writing or she's writing and stuff, and like where it's like, and also apply it to something that is personal to my story and stuff. So, so it's like, it's really a cool experience when you can connect to somebody that you never even met, and stuff, just through the music and stuff. And you're like, I know what that guy's going through because I've been there or whatever, or or something similar. So
yeah, just trying something that people can relate to.
Yeah, But or whenever you're sitting there and they sing that song, and then like you've been trying to figure out how to put it into words, and then all of a sudden they did it for you, and like you're like, man, that's like guy's telling my story exactly, and so. That's always
not crazy after all.
Yeah, right. For me, and like I also really always love how a song can even, like I've always thought it was a great song, but songs will also, even though they remain the same, my life experiences have changed since I heard that song, and now all of a sudden it hits me in a different way, and so I think of there's a track called "Strong" from one of my favorite writers, Will Hogue, who I mention all the time on the show because I'm a big fan of his writing, and he's just very prolific writer. But he wrote a song called "Strong," and like it's all about this hard, blue collar, 40-hour week type of guy. And actually got picked up on as a Chevy commercial for a while and stuff. So
Score.
Yeah. So he told a story live. I saw him when he played the song. He's like, I guess he emailed the song out to some friends, just like, hey, what do you guys think of this song? And then a friend, that one of those friends, like sent it to Chevy. He maybe would have a connection over there and was like, and they're like, hey, we want to buy that song. We want to use this song. And
what's that contract look
I
like?
don't know, but so he said he makes jokes about it.
I was like, back in the day, they used to call that mailbox money.
Yeah. So he gets a call. He says, Will says he gets a call from them, and they're like, yeah, hello, Mr. Hogue. Let me ask you, what kind of vehicle do you drive? And he's like, I got a Prius. And he's like, but I'm gonna have myself a Chevy real soon. But anyway, so the song is great. But so what I was trying to say is like, I always thought it was good, but then like when my grandfather passed, and he was like this song is talking about, he was that guy.
Oh wow!
And like I was like, it just kind of wrecked me, man. I'm like, I heard it for the first time after all that, and I'm just like sitting there in the car crying, and I'm like, damn, man, like it's such a heavy song now for me.
Yeah.
That, like every time I listen to it now, I think of him. And
just hit you a little different.
Yeah, but I didn't, I don't know. At first it didn't click that I thought of him right away, but now I do. So
yeah.
But anyway, it's songs are fun in that way, man. Like that they can, mess with your emotions or put you in a certain spot. Something, make you happy, make you sad, whatever and stuff. And
Yeah.
so
Bring you back to they can transport you.
oh yeah,
transplant
it's
you
like
right back.
it's like a time machine, man. It's
Yeah,
like,
so
yeah, there's songs out you put on. A lot of them were in your set last night, man. Like there's like just a lot of those. There's a lot of fun '90s sing-alongs and stuff that you were playing, and and a lot of those songs, like I'll go right back to cruising in my car with my buddies and stuff, and like think of all the dumb stuff we did together, and
yeah.
so
That's what it's all about, man.
yeah, yeah.
I play all the songs that everybody knows in hopes that it will just organically bleed into my own writing.
Yeah.
And I'll start,
Well, you were doing some of that. You're mixing some of the originals in your set last night, and
I joke about it. I call them vegetables. I'm like, you guys, listen. We just had 8 treats. Okay, it's time to eat a vegetable. Here comes an original.
all right.
You see, when I do it, honestly, man, I watch people go take smoke breaks and do this and go do that. But like, there's a handful that'll like listen to it, and my goal, honestly, is to just represent it the best I can and see how it lands.
Well, I would maybe one piece of advice I would say is quit telling them it's an original.
Ooh.
Just play it, just sprinkle it in there, and then like they'll be like, hey, who was that one? What's this song? And that's one of my favorite things to watch people do. Like, and then they come up and be like, what was that? And like, oh, that's mine. Like your stuff enough to where you can mix it in with somebody else's cover songs and stuff, and then like. But you fool them, and they don't even know it's your original. But something like it's just going back to what I was kind of saying earlier about talent here is like some people like they want to hear covers, but all those covers are originals that somebody put in a lot of time to get there. And that point, it's like yours could do the same thing if people give these a chance and get these on the radio. And then 20 years later, somebody's covering Anthony J Russo at the bar and stuff. Like so.
I never even looked at it like that. Like, don't say it's an original. Yeah.
Or save it for afterwards. But like I was saying, it is kind of it's the same thing when I remember going to see Tom Petty live, and Tom I think kind of knew. I think it was more by design, and that's at that time because obviously he's got an entire evening full of hits, Yeah. And then he goes
strap in,
and he goes. All right, we're gonna play a couple of new ones, and you watch like the entire lawn get up and go to the pee and get a beer and stuff.
Grab beer.
we don't give a shit about the new ones, Tom. Play the hits we came to see and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think for him it was almost like this is your cue if you want to go
plug the new stuff.
So, but that was. So that's kind of, I think there is something about that when people hear, if they're especially in a bar setting where you're coming out and you're dancing to cover songs all night and stuff, and then when people say, all right, here's an original or something like, all right, I'm gonna go get a drink or whatever.
Here's a commercial break almost.
But I think you can kind of train them into that they don't even know it's there. So
I've got a good opportunity this Sunday, man.
Yeah.
Just jab them in there.
See what you can do. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it works, maybe don't. I don't know. I just feel like
No, I imagine it will.
yeah. But I don't know. I just see so much of that, and I'm like, I don't get it because like me, I'm like, I'd prefer to hear the originals. So
Yeah. What's this person like? Actually, like, what do they sound like?
yeah,
you
sure.
know?
I mean, I've heard Sweet Home Alabama enough. It's like
Oh yeah.
it's still a great song. It's gonna be a great song next time, but. I've never heard your original, so I want to hear those. So, I'm always about looking for something new and different. So,
Right on.
yeah, man. Will you again get plugged in? AJ Russo on Facebook, and you and your Instagram too, right?
The Instagram is Have Taps Will Travel.
Yeah. So you can follow along and hopefully catch Anthony coming to a bar near you, or even a flatbed trailer near you. We got you do have when you're not doing the solo stuff, you do have a group, the Drive-By Boys. You can also follow along on Facebook with that. And desperate times come desperate measures. You bring your own stage with a flatbed trailer, and you can set up wherever needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We I just watched all the gigs disappear, and a friend of mine lives in a neighborhood where he's friends with people like 4 houses in each direction, both sides of the street. And he sent me a picture one Friday, and he's just like this way and then that way down the street, and every driveway had a couple of chairs and a cooler, and people would just kind of hang out. It was just driveway parties. Everybody would come to the end of their driveway, and the whole block was like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. 2 days later, I had this flatbed trailer set up. And I hit up the guys. We had just put this bluegrass trio together, and we called it Wood Eye. It's named after a gravel road we used to party on when we were in high school. And I was like, man, I think that maybe let's flip this. Let's call it the Drive-By Boys. I looked it up everywhere. I'm like, it's got to be taken. It hasn't been taken.
All right.
I think maybe like a hip hop track from the 90s, but I'm not an artist or a band.
Yeah.
And I sat right here on this couch, and I took a pencil and paper, and I sketched out stick figures with the instruments and put that trail. I found a power inverter for $40, got a deep cycle battery. And the first place we went was my buddy who sent me that picture of his block.
Yeah.
And we played it. And between the 3 guys, like, I think we only played a couple hours. And as far as like people appreciating the music and just being like so into it and grateful to have that experience, to be in the presence of live music and hang out with their friends and just have that element. Immediately I was like, this is the summer. This is the way of the summer, man. So we've done marriage engagement driveway parties, we've done block parties, farms, like family barns and whatever property. I did a graduation party in a school gymnasium with like 30 people. That was, you name it.
Yeah.
Whatever people are comfortable with. If they want a band, I'm like, well, we're in there. And if they want to stay outside, we roll up with a flatbed trailer and we plug in and we rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's working.
Yeah. We're making it happen. And
Sure.
we're not in a bar from 9 to midnight, getting home at 1 o'clock, and feeling a little dusty the day after. It's generally like sundown gigs, and then we're in bed by 10.
Well, the thing about that, the like you're saying, the street party, the thing, the cul-de-sac or whatever, at least if anybody gets a little tipsy, all they got to do is walk up the driveway. Nobody has, you just
perfect.
Yep. So,
DWIs are down.
Yeah, right. So you or heck, could just sleep in the yard if you want, and like yeah, man, that's I think that's cool. Like that, it's just, I always just enjoy seeing, again, even going back to your tap and playing and everything, people just getting creative with it, something different, and like we didn't see a lot of guys sitting on flatbed trailers playing music, driving down the street or whatever. So before quarantine and stuff. So it's just you find a way to make it work.
Yeah, and that's it, man. I'm friends with a lot of artists and dancers and performers from my 10 years in New York. A lot of friends that are Broadway performers. Broadway's closed. I toured with Cirque du Soleil for a while. They just filed for bankruptcy. I think it's a financial play. I don't think they're like gone or done. I lived in Vegas for 2 years. They're shut down. And I'm watching all these creative minds, these brilliant creatives that I've like worked alongside and for and with over the years. So uninspired.
Yeah.
You know, and like defeated. Like no idea how to move forward. And I don't know if I've ever had that. Like if I do, it's not for too long.
Yeah.
You know, if I meet resistance somewhere with something I'm trying to do, like there's always a way around it. You got to regroup and kind of go whatever, change lanes, but stay on the damn highway.
Yeah.
You know, and that's.
I mean, I've been there myself. Like, but I'm with you. I'm like, there's definitely days where I get down, man. Like, whatever. Just like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the podcast? Whatever. It's just like you start getting these negative thoughts. You're like, it's just not quite where you want it to be, but or something like that, and then all of a sudden, like the next day, I'm like, forget it. Land the hammer down. We'll figure it out, you just reroute and figure it out, and so I've been trying to apply that myself, just like staying the course, like you're saying, and because you got to believe, man. If you don't believe, then why is anybody else going to do it? So
true.
But yeah.
Yeah, and that thing, that one thing that's present with, I think everyone in general, but particularly artists, is crippling self-doubt.
Oh yeah.
Oh
sure.
yeah, it's in there for everyone.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's not.
Yeah.
But to be able to navigate around that and work with it instead of suffering from it is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's I think that, and obviously it keeps a ton of people from even getting out there, putting themselves on a stage or something out there. There's a lot of people who can't figure it out to how to get past that. But yeah. But yeah, man. So get involved. We hopefully will have a new record sometime.
Yep, I'm shopping for a place to record now because I'm like I said, I'm a bit of a stranger to it in the St. Louis area.
There's a lot of good ones around here, man. I'll give you some names, and
I'm sure you're an excellent reference point for this one.
That'll be fun, man. I would love to hear some studio versions of some of these new tunes you're playing, and
I have half a mind to release a full stripped down record.
Yeah,
take the 4 from the EP, strip them down to acoustic, and pair them up with the 6 that I started in Nashville area earlier this year, and give people a real representation of like what I do with a guitar and my voice.
Right.
Like I've always been a fan of that. My favorite series of albums, Unplugged.
Yeah, sure.
Alice in Chains Unplugged. Like Nirvana Unplugged. Like, come on. Those are killers, man.
So good.
You're like, oh man, this is what it is. This is what you guys do. The rest of it's production value. So even like listening to my own music, I'm like, I'll share my EP with a place that I want to go play. Oh, what's your stuff? I'm like, here's my EP, but like what you're listening to, I'm not doing that by myself. So
I'm with. That's the same reason I do my Songwriter showcase in acoustic guitars or piano or something like, and because like if it can hold up like this, you can always add to it. Like if it's a good song, it's gonna hold up just fine on its own with just a vocal and a guitar and
good bones, man. It translates to a lot of things in life.
Sure. And then of course you look at that's the same example that a cover song, like the core of it is already good, and like so you can make it a rock song or a folk song or whatever. People have able to twist songs and make them their own and make them a whole different arrangement because the lyrics and everything are so good already, or the melody or what and things. So they I would be down for that, man. It'd be fun to hear.
I'm leaning towards it, and I even kicked around the idea of calling it bare bones. Yeah, because I just want it to be an accurate representation of what I like, what I really do.
Yeah, man. Right on, buddy. Well, this has been it's been a hell of a day, man. I'm really glad this worked out. So
This was super cool, man.
thank you for spending some time with me. Thanks for the donuts.
Yes, sir. Every
and-
Saturday.
Yeah. And I say we do this again real soon, man.
All right, brother.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks, everybody, for listening. See you later. Bye-bye.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.